Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's been quite a quiet day in relation to Celtic news, in terms of fresh news anyway. A little bit of what we already know. However, there are a few things to touch on. A double departure has been confirmed by the club, and we also have the recent developments, the most latest developments, on our centre-half recruitment progress. So, let's talk about all of that today. Let's get into this. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. We are very close, and I mean very close to the massive landmark of 40,000 subscribers. I think we're just about 600 away now. You guys have smashed it lately. Keep it up. It's absolutely free. It's down below. Press the two big buttons and you'll get your daily-ish Celtic content. I couldn't thank you guys enough for the support recently, so keep it up. And the last bit of waffle before we do get into the news. Attention to all FPL players. If you want to join the podcast's FPL League for the 23-24 campaign, then the code will be on screen. The link will be in the description. Come take me on. After quite an impressive campaign last year, I was quite happy myself, but I'm looking to do one better. So come and join the Celtic Defenders League. We'll keep up with it every week on the podcast too, and shout out those who are doing pretty well, etc. And ultimately, come and try and beat me, the self-proclaimed head of the table. Can you come and top the table? And if you do, who knows? You might win a wee prize. So make sure to join that before the deadline tomorrow night. Right, let's get into the news then. Let's jump right into things, because Celtic have announced a double departure this morning at the club. And first off, of course, that inevitable departure of Carl Starfelt. We knew that his move to Celta Vigo was getting closer and closer, and this morning the club dropped the official statement confirming his move to the Spanish side. This was the statement that they put on the website this morning. After 2 full seasons with Celtic, Carl Starfelt has left to join the club, RC Celta in La Liga. The Swedish central defender joined the Hoops in July 2021 from Rubin Kazan and played 87 times for the Hoops, scoring 3 times. He leaves having won 5 domestic honours during his time at Paradise, including last season's historic treble. Everyone at Celtic wishes Carl Starfelt every success in his future career. So that was the club's very short and sweet statement. No comments yet from Carl Starfelt. I'd imagine we'll get some form of goodbye via his social medias in the coming days. A player who I've already said I'm sad to see go. I don't really need to touch on him leaving or my thoughts on him leaving much more than I already have in the past few videos. But yeah, genuinely gutted to see him go. And I think today, watching those kind of farewells roll in from the Celtic support kind of shows how underappreciated you could say was through his time here at Celtic. Someone who came under a lot of stick for a lot of times being unwarranted stick. You know, he really stuck through and he done well. And you especially consider the fact when he first came into the side, his debut against Hearts, the competitive debut, it didn't go really well. And that straight away put a lot of weight on his shoulders to try and recover from it. Then the whole squad never got off to a great start in that campaign. We lost 3 of our opening 6. It was a tough start for Carl Starfelt, and we've seen so many players fall away after starts like that, or just become useless after that. They've down tools, they've not been able to emerge through the criticism. But Carl Starfelt emerged so strongly, and I think that he gave us great service over the last couple of years. You look at that record that he had with Cameron Carter-Vickers. The fact that domestically they were unbeaten as a centre-half partnership, that's absolutely nuts over the course of 2 seasons. Now, a lot of people will be very quick to jump on and say, on the Cameron Carter-Vickers, it's mostly down to him, it's his work. Yeah, Vickers is a better player, absolutely. But it takes 2 to tango. It's a partnership at the end of the day. Cameron Carter-Vickers can't do it all by himself, and I'm sure he'd be the first person to tell you how important and how good a partner that Carl Starfelt was at centre-half with him. So yeah, fantastic servant to the club. He now moves on for his own personal reasons, which I have nothing but the utmost respect for. I wish him the best, and I hope that he does well over in Spain, one of Europe's top 5 leagues. It's a big move. A lot will be spoke about in regards to the fee that we've got for Starfelt. Once again, I'll sound like a broken record. I've went through this so much, but it's a fee that I can understand, especially with him wanting the move. There was no point in holding back for something we weren't going to get. We're talking 4 to 5 million euros. We've, at the end of the day, made profit. We'll now go and reinvest and bring in another centre-half, which we'll talk about in this video. We've done the best business we probably could do, considering the circumstances. So, yeah, And I don't want to rant about Starfelt too much and all the rest of it, but I want to make one last point before I move on, because at the end of the day, on my channel, I'm here to give my opinion, and I like to give an opinion of the overall observation that's going on at Celtic. And I feel like the majority of fans, probably 90% of supporters, are on the same side of the fence as me. We wish him nothing but the best. We understand why he wants to go. But there's still this very small minority of people that I've seen on social media, I've seen in my own comment sections, that are saying the same sort of thing. And it's kind of winding me up. A lot of people giving it the, oh, Starfelt's moving for a bird. What a professional. Imagine leaving because your girlfriend. Oh, yada, yada. Who cares, right? At the end of the day, football players are not robots. They're human beings with emotion, with lives, with personal attachments, with everything else going on that us normal people have. And just like most people in this country working any other normal office job or 9 to 5, we'd probably move for our wives. We'd probably go to Australia, Canada, if the circumstances all lined together. Carl Starfelt's obviously very lucky. He's a football player on, 15, 20 grand a week. It makes it pretty easy for him. But let's not pretend he's not a human being and doesn't deserve to go where his personal life wants to take him. And I think it's nonsense some of the opinion that folk are giving him. Oh, he's leaving because I just said, and what? It's his life. It's his partner, it's his relationship, and he should be allowed to go wherever suits him to make sure his personal life is as happy as it can be. And I'm delighted for him, I really am. And look, he's not moving to an English League One side, he's not moving to some obscure nation in the middle of nowhere, he's not moving to a Diddy league, he's moving to one of the top 5, if not one of the top 2 leagues in the world. He's going to be playing against Real Madrid, Barcelona, all these big sides, Sevilla. He's going to be playing good standard of football now, probably to the end of his career. And alongside that, he gets to keep his personal life intact, and I wish him nothing but the best. I think some people have to take a look at football for a minute and put it, Celtic isn't the be-all, end-all, and it's especially not going to come above people's personal lives. And that's if that's the sad reality for you, then that's it. But I wish him the best, both to him and Jacinta. Hope things go well. Smash it in Spain, big man. However, Carl Starfelt wasn't the only departure at Celtic Football Club today, as we also seen Ben McPherson get a loan move to Queen's Park for the rest of the season. A good move for him after, a lot of faith was placed on him in pre-season. Brendan Rodgers used him quite well. Of course, we were in a situation where we didn't have Tony Ralston, we didn't have Alistair Johnson, so we had to balance minutes somewhere, so probably the reason Ben McPherson came up. But it's a good move for him, moving to Queen's Park, of course, in the Championship. This isn't a League 2, a League 1, it's just the tier below here, so good to see him go and get that move. Hopefully he smashes it down there, makes a good impression, and who knows, could be a homegrown player that comes back and has something to play for in the future, should Brendan Rodgers like what he sees. So best of luck to Ben McPherson as well. Yeah. And finally, to end off today's video, let's get the update and the latest on Celtic's quest for Gustaf Lagerbielke, who is coming in from Elfsborg in Sweden. This was put up this morning by Anthony Joseph. The update was, talks between Celtic and Elfsborg for Gustaf Lagerbielke are understood to be progressing well. There's a willingness from all sides to get a deal done, as the centre-back is keen to move to the Scottish champions this summer. One of the key parts of that statement is that the player himself, Lagerbielke, is really excited for the move and really wants the move to happen. This was actually him speaking to a Swedish newspaper. He said this: all players in the this is where my pronunciation falls a little bit. Let's try it. Allsvenskan dream of going to better leagues and playing in the Champions League with big clubs. They play both in the Champions League and they're a very big club. It is clear that would be interesting if it became relevant. He then goes on to say it's a big club with a lot of supporters and titles. It's not often they buy from the Allsvenskan, and you don't know how many chances you get. So that was the player himself speaking about the move. It looks pretty much like it's going to happen. Hopefully it's one that gets completed maybe tomorrow, if possible. I don't know when he'll fly to Glasgow to get the medical done and such, but it seems like, Elfsborg are probably happy with the fee Celtic are willing to pay. Celtic are probably happy with the fee they're willing to give. Obviously, the player will probably be really happy with the terms. Everything looks as though it'll probably get done pretty quickly. And he should be a Celtic player very, very soon. Very happy with this signing. We obviously spoke about Lagerbielke in great depth in a video a couple of days ago, so you can check that out if you want to know more details about the player. But he's someone who fits the mould. He's someone at an age that can come in and have an instant impact, and then also further development. Obviously having about 5 years on Carl Starfelt, I think it's probably one of the best replacements that we could have identified. I think he'll fit like a glove here at Celtic. The fact that he's a right footer and he's very comfortable on the left hand side of central defence ticks a lot of boxes, and it looks as though he'll be a good one to bring into the club. So hopefully that'll be tied together very, very soon. It looks as though Xavier Biamba, all of that's kind of died out. Celtic have picked who they want, they know who they want, and I think that at least by Monday we will see Lagerbielke become a Celtic player. That's it. There we go. That's today's updates. Not too much that's new or fresh, stuff that we didn't already know, but it's nice to have the updates and the concrete stuff, and then to dazzle a little bit of my own opinion onto it. So yeah, we'll hopefully be back tomorrow if there's news. If not, the podcast will be out on Saturday previewing the Aberdeen game, so make sure to keep your eyes peeled for that on the channel. But thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, join the FPL League, and I'll see you all next time.